9 every Tuesday from 7 to 9 p.m. with me, your host, Troy Biff Mills. We will keep you on the ball with our variety of guests and, of course, your calls, discussing the facts and the stats and sharing your opinions. Get on the ball and stay on the ball by tuning into On the Ball with Troy Biff Mills on WINNFM 98.9 every Tuesday night from 7 to 9 p.m. and also on Facebook and YouTube. Be on the ball. Good evening, good evening, good evening to you. Welcome to another edition of On the Ball here at WINNFM 98.9. I am Troy Biff Mills, your host, and it's indeed a pleasure for me to be here with you again. We're going to be having a wonderful time tonight, and we're going to be having some guests. But hold on, I forgot. I said good evening to people in St. Kitts and Nevis. Good evening to those in the Leeward Islands, the OECS, the Caribbean. And good morning, good night, good afternoon to you, wherever you are in your part of this beautiful universe of ours. And it's indeed another pleasure having you be here with us again for another week. Today is the 11th. Gosh, time flying fast. And I say good evening to my production manager, Jamster, attentive as usual. And hey, we're going to be having two sets of guests. We are having the St. Kitts and Nevis Aquatic Federation, and they are coming in at 7:30. And then we are going to be having Mr. Carlisle Powell, the president of the St. Kitts, the president of the Nevis Cricket Association, and he is also contending for the presidency of the Leeward Islands Cricket Board. And he's going to be telling us why he should be voted in and perhaps why others should not be voted in. And they're just two contenders, himself as the challenger and the incumbent out of Antigua, the current president, Leeward Islands Cricket Board, Mr. Enoch Lewis. But first, again, we must encourage persons to come on board and sponsor the program, so we'll be able to have this program going. It's very important for us to bring you the news, what's happening locally, regionally, and internationally. And we really would hope that we'll be able to get a sponsor to keep us on the air. And let us start with football. And we have had the FA Cup. That's happening, the St. Kitts and Nevis FA Cup. And that is actually the knockout competition, as it was once called. So we had some FA Cup matches. And that was that would have been on the weekend. And let us just try. I have to go to the backup here. My laptop seems to be giving me some issues. And you always hear, never forget the old for the new. And before I forget, happy birthday to those persons who are celebrating today. Happy anniversary as well, if you're celebrating. And to those persons who are undergoing a period of bereavement, we say condolences to you, your family, your friends, on the loss of your loved ones. And those who are celebrating between now and next week, Thursday, happy birthday in advance, happy anniversary in advance. And those who would have celebrated between now and last week, or last week Tuesday and now, we say happy belated birthday, happy belated anniversary to you. We hope that you would have enjoyed it and you would have had fun. And looking forward. I know some people, they celebrate from the day of their birthday this year until the day before their birthday next year. And then the day before their birthday next year, they stop and then they start celebrating the day after. So they basically celebrate for a whole year. But in terms of football, FA Cup preliminary round. These would be to get players to get into the group of 16. Some may call the group of 16, and then you have the group of 8, which is the quarterfinals, the group of 4 semifinals, and then the finals. On Friday, 7th June, all the FA Cup matches have been played so far at the Keon playing field. Mantab completely took advantage of Rivers of Living Water 6-1. Kimel French, he had a double brace. 4 goals in the 2nd, 7th, 17th, and 29th minute. Eversley Davis, he struck. He had a brace. In the 25th minute, he converted from the penalty mark, and also in the 80th minute. Rivers, they got a consolation goal from Quayne Brown via the PK mark in the 79th minute. That's how it's ended. In the second game, Trafalgar South Stars. Well, I can't say they returned to winning ways. I don't know if they started their winning ways, because they completely demolished 607 Davis Construction Lodge Patriots 8-zip, 8-0, 8 nada. And for South Stars, Tremere Samuel, he put a bulge in the old onion bag 3 times. So he had a hat-trick in the 22nd, 80th, 86th minute. Jabari Willett, he had a brace the 28th and 45th. And Akane Samuel Francis, he also had a hat-trick in the 47th, 68th, and the 78th minute. And boy, that was really a goal fest. On Saturday the 8th, at the first game, Trans Global Engineering Debe Eagles and the Connery Fireballs International, they played to a 0-all draw. I don't know what happened here because Trans Global Engineering Debe Eagles, they are in tough contention for the Premiership this year. And maybe it's a case they play their bench as some clubs do. I believe in giving everybody a chance, a game, competition, tournament, whatever. So maybe they played their bench. I don't know. Maybe Connery Fireballs just showed up. And then they went to kicks from the penalty mark. And Connery Fireballs edged them out 5-4. Scoring for Debe, we had Josiah Bradshaw, Jason Phipps, Sean Liebert, and Joshua Bradshaw. That's what they forced goals. Joshua and Josiah. Maybe they're twins, I don't know. Brothers, I don't know. And for Connery Fireballs, Beyond Henry, I.D. Keynes, Raheem Brown, Sylvester Brown, Kazarian Baptiste. And they would have taken care of business in the next game. Hey, forgive me. But for the past few weeks, I've been ranting and raving about Molineux. I believe Molineux, if I had to be asked who I believe is the team of the year in the SKNFA League, First Division and the Premiership, I'll say Molineux. I'm very much impressed with Molineux. I have to make my way to go out and look at them. I understand they have quite a few youngsters. But they last year and the year before, previous years, they couldn't find 7 to start a game. They've been losing by default and all kind of things. But here it is. KFC Trinity Challengers. They went down 4-1 to Molineux. And Molineux is only one of 2 teams not to have gone to the Premiership right now in the First Division. 4-1, they put out Challengers, KFC Trinity Challengers. The lone goal scorer for Challengers, Deshaun Billinghurst in the 69th minute. But that was a consolation goal because it was already 4-0. For Molineux, Ronald Williams, he had a brace in the first. As soon as the game started, boom! He put a bulge in the old onion bag. The first and 10 minute. Rondell Williams, 33rd minute. Kevin Watley, 39th minute. But I have to give credit to KFC Trinity Challengers because 4 goals in the first half. And then Molineux couldn't even put up on the net. Second half. But not only that, KFC Trinity Challengers, they scored a goal. So they won the second half big time. He lost the match, but they might be saying, why couldn't we do what we did second half? Why couldn't we do that first half? But that is how it was. They were two red cards. Tikwan Hallin, Molineux, 56th minute. Kadim Watley, Molineux, 65th minute. Whoa! But this puts a completely even different picture on the game. Let's put it in perspective. This game, first 45 minutes each half. So in the 46th minute started the second half. So 10 minutes in the second half, a Molineux man get a red card. In the 65th minute, that's 9 minutes later, another Molineux man get a red card. So Molineux now playing with 9. And they played with 9 for 25 minutes. And I have to commend them big time because KFC Trinity Challengers, they only scored a goal with Molineux being 2 men down. That is a big, big story. And hey, I don't know what Molineux did, but whatever they did, to me, it was working big time. And I'm just trying to get here the fixtures. Now, those teams that, yes, here we are. Those teams that won, they've gone through to the round of 16, and that's going to be played from July the 1st. Monday the 1st, Molyneux, they're going to be playing Horsfords, and that's the second game. Hot Springs Bath, they're going to be playing Fast Clash Saddlers. But if you look at just the winners who went through, we have here South Stars, they're going to be playing Development Bank St. Peter's. Connery Fireballs, they're going to be playing Rams Village Superstars. And Mantap, they're going to be playing Old Road. And those are the winners. The other games, Bath, Fast Saddlers, Sol Island Otto Connery, Honda Newtown, H.E. Garden Hotspurs, Jones Group Sandy Point, and Flow 4G Car and Rockets, Security Forces. Boy, these are good matches, you know. And these games will be played Monday the 1st July, Tuesday the 2nd July, Tuesday the 9th July. No, forgive me. Tuesday the 9th July, we're having the quarterfinals. And then Wednesday, 16th July, semifinals, 24th. Boy, that is going to be there are going to be some interesting games. Now, if we could look quickly at, remember, the Premier League that returns, well, the First Division and the Premier League, they are returning on this week because there was a break in the Premiership for the St. Kitts and Nevis team that lost 4-0 to Costa Rica last week. And my sources are telling me that St. Kitts and Nevis defeated the Bahamas 1-0. 1-0. People were saying 3-0 and 3-1 and 4-1. 1-0. But hey, that is how it's going. Wednesday, 12th June, in the Division 1 at the Technical Center, Security Forces versus KFC Challengers United. At 6 p.m., Zoe Brown, Rennick Bartlett, Alexis Joseph, and Orlando Ack Mitchum, the fourth official, welcome Ack to the refereeing fraternity. He did his first game last week, was it? And I understand he had a very, very good game. The feature match, 607 Construction Lodge Patriots coming up against Molyneux at 8 p.m. And again at the Technical Center, Trevester Richards, Tyra Wilkinson, Josh Walters, Michaela Dillon, Sergio, the officials. And Thursday, 13th June, day after tomorrow, Fast Cash Saddlers United versus Rivers of Living Water, 6 p.m. Orlando Ack Mitchum is the referee. Janiqua Matthew, Kenwin Collins, the assistants. Kareem Benjamin, the fourth official. And in the feature game on Thursday, Jones Group Sandy Point versus Trans Global Engineering Eagles. That is going to be a very, very good game, because both are fighting for contention, for position to go up. 8 p.m. David Phipps, he's the man in the middle. Michaela Odein, Jevian Archibald on the line. Sanchez Bass, the fourth. And before we go to the Premier, let's take a look at something from the First Division and see how it is looking in terms of points. Who could make it, who can make it, who might make it, who ain't gonna make it, all kind of make it and ifing. Now, there are 10 teams. 3 teams have no chance whatsoever of being considered for the promotion. In number 10 position, Rivers of Living Water. They've played 12 matches. They only have 2 points from their 2 drawn games. Assuming they win all the other matches, the most they could reach is 20. KFC Trinity Challengers United. They've played 13, winning 1, drawing 1, losing 11. They have 4 points. 5 games left. The most they could reach, if they win all of them, would be 19 points. 607 Construction Lodge Patriots. They have 4 points with KFC, but a better goal difference. They've played only 11. They have 2 matches in hand, as a matter of fact. Winning 1, drawing 1, losing 9. 11 goals for 38 against. They have a goal difference of 27. Whereas KFC, they have KFC Trinity Challengers. They've scored 11, given up 65, a goal difference of 54. Construction, 607 Construction Lodge Patriots, they could only reach 25. So,
right now, Security Forces United on 35. So if you could reach 25, you can't come nowhere near 35. Jones Group Sandy Point is second place on 32. So anybody can reach up there. Well, we could even drop down a bit now. Let's start them too. If you can't reach 32 or 32, that means you ain't in nothing. Molineux, this is the team I'm really excited about. I don't know what's happening. Maybe it's the water they breathing, they drinking, the air they breathing, or something, I don't know. They've played 13, winning 4, drawing 2, losing 7. They have 14 points. They could only reach 29. So they cannot reach up there. It's unlikely. Well, not unlikely, impossible. They can't reach 32, so they ain't in it. Connery Fireballs International in 6. Playing 13, winning 5, drawing 1, losing 7. They have 16 points, so they could reach 31. Ouch! They just miss out on getting a chance. So, first division football for them next year. Now, in 5th place, Fast Cash Saddlers. They've played 12. They've won 7, drawn 2, lost 3. So, they have, hold on, where you gone? Fast Cash, they have 17 points. 6 games left, so they could reach 35. They have a goal difference of 36. That's a heavy goal difference. They scored 46. 10 scored against them. Goal difference 36. Now, if they could reach 35, and they have a chance. A very slim, extremely slim, maybe a hairline, maybe a cobweb of a chance, I don't know. Because they're on 35. Security Forces in the lead with 35. So for them to have a chance, that means Security Forces and everybody else who could reach 35 got to lose all the matches. And Saddlers got to win all the matches. Why, that is going to be something tiring, boy, Jamster. Maybe they could do it. I don't know. Let's wait and see another week or two what happens. In 4th place, Mantab. Played 13, winning 8, draw 2, lose 3. They have 20 points. They could reach 35 because they have 5 games remaining, 3 points for a win, assuming they win all 5. 20 and 15, 35. And that would mean then that for them to have a chance, a cobweb of a chance as well, Security Forces and Jones Group of Sandy Point, similar to Saddlers, what they were thinking they have to lose all the games and lose badly, and Mantab and Fast Cash win and win handsomely, and all kind of mathematics and things and physics, and so we got to wait and see. Trans Global Engineering Eagles in 3rd place, having played 13, win 7, draw 5, lose 1. They have 26 points. They could reach 41. So it means if they win all the rest matches, they could reach 41 points. Jones Group Sandy Point in 2nd place, playing 14, winning 10, drawing 2, losing 2. They have 32 points. So they could reach a maximum of 44. Security Forces United, they've played 14, won 11, drawn 2, lost 1. They're on 35. They could reach 47. Them and Sandy Point have 4 more matches left. 4 threes are 12, 12 and 35 is 47. Why? Now, the physics and maths would tell us if these two were to win a couple more matches, they go on. Well, as a matter of fact, Security Forces, no, they don't need. They need to get to 42 to be clear. Because DB could reach 41. So if they get to 42, if both teams get to 42, no hope for the rest of the other teams. But the thing about it is some of them playing each other. So it's not as simple and square cut as them playing blam, blam, blam. So we have to wait and see how that works out. Now in terms of the Premier Division, we haven't had any for a little while. And Friday the 14th, and these games are going to be in Warner Park at 8 p.m. And I can't understand why they're playing these Friday games at 8 p.m. Why not 7? I don't. And I've heard players complaining, spectators complaining. I don't know, but Montreal Farm, Clean White United, Olo Jets, They are coming up and they are in second place at the moment. They are coming up against Rams Village Superstars, the defending champions, who are in third place. 8 p.m. Hakeem Harvey, Tyra Wilkinson, Jaden Rose, Shanda Wilkinson are the officials. Stuart Duff Rollins is the referee assessor. On Saturday the 15th, a doubleheader. At the park, 6 p.m., Azul Keon Rockets, the leaders. They are coming up against Skellig Garden Hotspurs. Skellig Garden Hotspurs. They are in 9th position. I believe they are gone, but funny things happen in football. We got to wait and see. Sanchez, the officials for that game, Kimball Ward, Maria Parry, Michaela Ode and David Phipps. Troy Biff Mills is the assessor. At 8 p.m. the feature game, Honda Newtown United, they are in 6th place. They're coming up against Tropical Blossom Hot Spring Bath United, who are flirting with the relegation playoff. They are in 7th place. Forgive me. They are in 8th place. At 8 p.m., Sanchez Bass in the middle, Janiqua Matthew, Javian Archibald on the line, Kareem Benjamin the 4th, Kendria Tully, the referee assessor. And then on Sunday, the 16th, we're also going to have another doubleheader in the Premiership. Development Bank St. Peter's, who are in 5th. They are just floating on the border there to get into the final 4. On the river, on the bank, but they ain't quite get on the river yet, so they're still on the bank. They're coming up against Trafalgar South Stars. And Trafalgar South Stars, they have a perfect record. They've lost all 13 games they've played. They haven't even drawn one. So they ain't got 1 point to write home about. And they are goners. They already gone. Because they have 5 games left. And even if they win all 5, they'll get to 15 points. Skellig Garden Hotspurs in 9th on 26. And Tropical Blossom Hot Springs Bath United on 32. Hold on. Did I say something here, boy? If Tropical Blossom Bath United were to win all their remaining 5 games, they could get to 32. But that doesn't mean that they'll be safe, because they'll still be in the 8th position and they have to play the number 3 team in the Premier Division to see if they stay up or the other team come up. And I don't believe in that at all. Every year I rant about this, and this has been going on for more than a decade now, for years. I believe the FA needs to say the top 3 teams from 1st Division go up, the last 3 teams go down. This playoff thing to see who going up. I don't believe in that, but hey, that's just my humble view. And where are we now? Development Bank South Stars. 5 p.m. Shanda Wilkinson, Lenway Parry, Johan Newkirk, Trevester Richards are the officials. Lloyd Rouse is the referee assessor. And the feature game on Sunday 16th, SL Horsford St. Paul's United, they are in 4th place, and they've been going through a bad patch. The last 5 matches, I think they've lost 4 and they've won 1. They are coming up against Seoul Island Otto Connery who in 7th. And Kareem Benjamin, Maria Parry, Tyra Wilkinson, Kimball Ward, the officials, Stedward Douglas, the 4th, the referee assessor. And hold on, before we finish wrap away, Tuesday, June 8th, 2 1st Division matches. Jones Group, Sandy Point in 2, coming up against Security Forces United who are leading at 6 p.m. Shanda Wilkinson, Tyra, that's next week, Tuesday, Godspear. Tyra Wilkinson, Jevian Archibald, Trevester Richards. And the feature game, KFC Trinity Challengers United versus Connery Fireballs International. 8 p.m. Zoe Brown, Josh Walter, Janiqua Matthew, and Michaela Sergio. They are the officials. So, boy, in the Premiership now, we know Trafalgar South Stars. They are a dead deal, sealed and done. They done gone. They booked their passage first class to the first division. They've played 13, lost all 13, they only have 0 points. The most they could reach is 15 if they win the remaining 5. Skelly Garden Hotspurs in 9th, 11 points, 2 victories, 5 drawn matches, 6 losses. They could reach 26 if they win the 5, but that wouldn't save them. They're already gone. So, no, they can't say that because other teams have 20 and 24. But yes, South Stars gone. No ifs, no buts, no baby. Tropical Blossom Hot Springs Bath United 8. They're on 17 points. If they win the 5, they could reach 32. And that's a lot of if in here I'm talking about, eh? All teams have 5 remaining matches. Soil Island Otto Connery 7. For now, they're out of the relegation, gone hard or playoff. They have 19 points, could reach 34. Honda Newtown United. They have 20 points, could reach 35. They're in 6th. Development Bank St. Peter's 5th. They have 20 points. They could reach 35. Now, SL Horsford St. Paul's in 4th place. They're on 21. They could reach 36. Rams Village Superstars. They're on 22. They could reach 37. MFCR Old Road, United Old Road Jets, they're on 22. They could reach 37. And Azul Cairn Rockets, they're on 24. They could reach 39 were they to win all 5 remaining games. But we don't know how that one work out, eh? And let me say, ladies and gentlemen, these scores and where they could reach, that's my calculation. Provided I haven't heard, they'll stand true. So not only do we have a lot of football left to play, we have a lot of exciting games left to play. And games that will determine who goes where, who stays where, who goes up, who comes down, and who get in, who trying to get in. And we have to wait and see what's happening. But that's it for the football. We're going to be having the St. Kitts and Nevis Aquatic Federation with us in a minute here. But stick and stay. Don't go away. We will be right back with you. Thank you. Welcome back to another edition of On the Ball here at WINNFM 98.9. I am Troy Biff, your host, and it is indeed my pleasure to be with you. And if I'm not mistaken, I think yesterday, the late Lester Blackett, sportsman, sports administrator extraordinary out of Nevis, was laid to rest. Again, we say condolences to his family and friends. And hey, we have a lot of action happening. We have our guests here. We're hoping that we'll be able to touch some basketball. And we must say congratulations to Mr. Dennis Freddie Knight on being elected unanimously as president of the St. Kitts and Nevis Olympic Committee at the extraordinary general meeting last week, Thursday. And he steps up to fill the seat created by the passing of the long-standing president, the late Alfonso Bridgewater. And again, we say condolences to his family. Now, what that has done, that has created a vacancy, because Freddie was the vice president for years, since 1993, I think it was, or thereabout. And so, as that vacancy has been created, the national associations have been asked to make nominations for the position of vice president of the SKNOC. And of course, the St. Kitts and Nevis Table Tennis Association, of which I have the privilege of being the president. Our nomination, we believe, is going to be for the person who is going to win. I suspect personally there may only be one candidate being put up. The person will be well deserving of it. However, I won't get into who and what the person might be as yet, but the elections should happen. The deadlines for nomination is Friday this week, and the elections would happen 2 weeks after. So by just about the end of this month, we'll be having a new vice president of the St. Kitts and Nevis Olympic Committee. And switching quickly to a bit of track and field, Sunday coming 15th, there's a 2-in-1 event happening at the Mondo track in Nevis. The St. Kitts Nevis Athletics, they'll be having their national championships. And that will also be an Olympic trial meet. So persons who have not been able to make the Olympic standards as yet to be representing St. Kitts and Nevis in the Olympic, you will have a chance here to get into the St. Kitts and Nevis Olympic squad. So I'm encouraging all athletes to finalize your tune in your last bits of preparation. And I'm encouraging the crowd to go on out and support it. It starts 10 o'clock on Saturday. I have an ad somewhere in here. I'm going to run it to let you know the time and specifics of it. And discuss, I think, if I'm not mistaken, that's happening at the Kim Collins on Saturday. In the past, it was a 2-day event, but now it's only 1 day. And sometimes in the past, Jamster, I competed in national track and field championships once or twice. I represented BZ Tonics out of Sandy Point. Needless to say, I came about 17th in a race that only had 8 people. That's how much last I come. And but it's going to be fine, and it's going to be fun. Let us go to our Zoom now, and we say good evening to our first set of guests. And a reminder, we're going to be having Mr. Carlisle Powell with us at 8 p.m. He's the president of the Nevis Cricket Association, and he is also a nominee. A candidate, not a nominee, a candidate for the presidency of the Leeward Islands Cricket Board. And I must say good evening to a friend of mine, Mr. Samuel Spencer, out of Antigua. He is the chairman of the Leeward Islands Cricket Board Selectors. Good evening, Sam. How are you, sir? He was in St. Kitts for a little while there. We had quite a few days together. Really enjoyed talking cricket and hanging out a bit with him. If I'm not mistaken, I think he left for Antigua today. And good evening to you as well, Mr. Hugo out of Antigua. And if we get around to it, I'm not certain, but there's an article that Mr. Go actually put some blows. Let me take back that. Let me put it this way. Mr. Hugo of Antigua former cricketer, and he was manager of the Leeward Islands team for quite a few years, and I think he was manager when they won. Can't remember if he played for the Combined Islands, but he is a guy, gentleman. He doesn't cut corners. He let you have very, very nice gentleman, but he let you have it in a minute. And if I am not mistaken, is it the Prime Minister of Antigua? He made a statement saying to the effect that Sir Vivian Richards, he doesn't have a good technique in batting. And Mr. Gore took the Prime Minister to task with an article. And we have it somewhere here, and we'll get around to that. And quickly, West Indies cricket legend Joel Garner to be honored at a Caribbean Week. That is in the New York, I think. But let us go to the line and say good evening to our guests. Gentlemen, welcome.
Good evening. Good evening.
Good evening.
It's nice having you on the ball here at Win FM 98.9. Could you please tell us who you are?
I'm Ellen. I mean, you know me. I've been there a couple of times. President of the St. Kitts Nevis Aquatics Federation.
Thank you very much, Mr. Eldon. And who else do we have?
I am Grayson Burrow.
Repeat the first name. Did you say Grayson?
I am Grayson Burrow.
Grayson Bowell. Yes. And how old are you, Grayson?
I'm 10.
Okay, nice. This is the first time you're on the ball here at Win FM 98.9. You're live on radio. This is a sports program we have every Tuesday night from 7 to 9, and I have the privilege and the honor of having you on the program tonight, and we're going to hear a little bit about you. Mr. President, what has been happening in the world of the Aquatic Federation?
Well, lots have been happening, Mr. Mills. Lots have been happening. Right now, as you know, we attended the World Championships in Qatar a couple months ago. We didn't qualify for Olympics, but I understand that we were offered a universality spot. Aquatics was offered a universality spot, so the selection committee has made a decision and would allow one of our top swimmers to attend once everything goes well, and World Aquatic accepts him to represent St. Kitts and Nevis. I mean, this is a really big event for him and for St. Kitts and Nevis. We have never really had anyone actually swimming. Aquatics has never been represented at Olympics at all. Worse yet for St. Kitts and Nevis. So I think that is something good. We're also preparing for the upcoming OACS Championship, which will be held in St. Vincent this year. So we have a clinic that's going to be starting on the 8th of July down to the 9th of August to get our swimmers geared up and prepped. And some of them might be going on to Barbados to get some full time. So we have a lot going on, and the pool isn't in view yet, but I'm confident that it will come.
I like to hear that, and I am extremely excited about what is happening with the aquatic federations in and around the pool and things like that. And if I'm so excited, I could only imagine how excited you are as the president, Mr. Thomas.
Yes, that's correct. And swimming is producing not only swimmers. Swimming is also the Aquatics Federation is also producing triathletes as well. Swimming, running, and biking. So all combined together to make up an athlete. And so I know Grayson would talk more about that, but Grayson, is a swimmer, he's an athlete as well, competed in the OACS Championship, competes a lot in the in the region, the local, national championship we have, with all the clubs around the federation come together, and Grayson usually dominates his age group. So, I am not surprised of his performance at all that he has been, putting out there. So I know that you'll get into that, but I say let me touch that, seeing that he's also an aquatics athlete.
That is wonderful. Grayson, where are you from, Grayson? Which part of St. Kitts and Nevis you're from again, please?
I'm from Cedar Grove
And that's where, in St. Kitts or in Nevis?
in St. Kitts.
What school do you attend?
I go to Ross Prep.
Oh, that's wonderful. And tell us about your last outing. You participated in an event recently? You're there, Grayson?
Yeah.
You participated in an event recently. Where was it and when was it? And tell us a bit about it, please.
It was in St. Martin. It was
last week.
It was last weekend.
Sunday.
Last weekend, Sunday.
So that's about last week, Sunday. Would have been the 8th. Is it the 8th of June? Sorry, the 9th of June? Or the 2nd, sorry. The 2nd of June it was. You said last week, Sunday. So what was the name of the event? What type of event was it?
It was a triathlon.
And
swim, bike, and run.
Swim, bike, and run. And you participated. What were the distances? How far you had to run? How long you had to? The distance you had to ride and swim. Do you remember the distances?
Yeah, I swam 300 meters. I rode 7 kilometers, and I ran 2.5 kilometers.
Wow! Did you say you swam 300 meters?
Yes.
Why, Grayson, I doubt I could swim 75 meters. Good, never mind 300 meters. Congratulations. How many athletes were involved?
There were 10 in my category.
And your category was what?
Well, there were 10 overall and 3 in my age category.
Oh, and what was your age category?
Under 18.
Under 18. And you said did you say you were 10 years?
Yes.
Wow, that's a very big gap. I thought it might have been something like under 15 and then 17 to 18. And what position did you place?
I got first.
First as in numero uno in the under 18 category, and you're just 10 years, Grayson?
I got first overall.
Wow, that was indeed tremendous. Congratulations. How are you feeling about that?
I'm very happy and thanks and excited that I won.
Before the race, before you left St. Kitts for St. Martin, did you believe that you were going to medal for gold, silver, or bronze? Did you feel that, hey, I would win the race, or I mightn't win, but I'll be second, or maybe I'll be third? How did you feel before? What was your confidence level before you left St. Kitts?
My confidence level was high. I felt prepared.
Okay, so you're now in St. Martin. And where in St. Martin do you remember the events were held? The French side, the Dutch side?
Dutch.
It was on the Dutch side.
Okay, so you're now at the event. You've registered for the event. Did you have butterflies? Were you a little bit scared? Were you not scared at all?
No, I wasn't scared.
Wow, so you were bold and ready to take on the challenge. I'm still here a little shaking. You're a 10-year-old coming up against 18-year-old in the under 18 category and win it. That was excellent. What was your strategy going into it? What was the first event of the triathlon?
The first part was the swim.
Okay. Just as the starter, on your mark, get set, before he fires the gun, what was your game plan? What did you want to achieve from the swim? Were you telling yourself, hey, I'd like to come out in the top position, come out the water in the top position, the second?
To come out first.
And did you come out first after the swim?
I came out second.
Okay, how far behind were you?
A foot.
Okay, well, a foot. Well, that was very good. The person was right there. You could have reached out and touched him. And what was the next event?
The next event was the bike.
And that was how long? That was it? No, the run was 2.5 kilometers, you said. The bike was what? What was the bike again? 7 kilometers. So now, how did you approach that race, the bike? What was your strategy? To go and stay in front? Or, hey, if somebody passes me, I'm going to stay close to them, and half a kilometer, I'm going to take the lead. What did your coach tell you how to ride that part of the race?
To push hard, and if anyone passes you, try and keep up with them.
That is wonderful. While you were riding, did you feel, hey, boy, this thing, I'm a little tired, I need to slow down, or did you just keep going?
Not really.
And when you ended the bike, what was your position?
When I ended the bike, I was in first place.
Wow, that was wonderful. Did you believe at that point, hey, I'm going to win this? Or were you concerned that the person, the athlete in number 2, he might give you a good challenge? What were you thinking? How were you feeling?
I wasn't really thinking that he would catch up. I was just thinking about running my lap and going to the finish.
Okay, that was indeed excellent. And the 2.5 kilometers, was it a straight line from, say, Ross University to Bastille, or did you have to go and turn back, or did you end in a stadium?
It was on a boardwalk, and you had to go down, and then you had to come back, go to the next end of the boardwalk, and come back to where you started, and there would be a finish there.
Okay, wonderful. So you're now running the 2.5 kilometers. Did anybody pass you along the way?
No, nobody passed me.
So you took out and you were first when you came out of the water. And then you continued running and you were first and you held that throughout the period. Correct?
Yes, when I was coming back to the finish, they were just going up to the next end of the boardwalk.
That was indeed wonderful. Do you remember the times that you did? What was your time for the swimming? Do you remember that? And what was the time for the bike and the time for the running and the overall time for the...
No, I don't remember exactly.
But that's...
I think it was for the swimming. It was 7 minutes and 26 seconds, and for the ride, it was 17 minutes and 38 seconds. And for the run, it was 12 minutes and 26 seconds.
That was wonderful indeed. And the person finished second. Were you able to get an idea how far behind you that person was? Or you were just concentrating on everything and everyone in front?
Yeah, I was just concentrating on getting to the finish as fast as I could.
And what was the environment like when you got to the finish? How did the spectators react? Were they cheering you on? Were they happy, excited, jumping?
They were cheering me on, and they didn't really expect me to come in that fast.
Wow, that was a tremendous. And who went with you from St. Kitts? Who accompanied you to St. Martin?
My coach and my parents.
And when you were...
Coach James.
When you were going to the finish line, did you see them, your coach and your parents?
I saw my parents and my coach was next to me.
And how were they behaving? How were they reacting to see you out front winning?
Happy.
I could imagine the hugs and the kisses you got from them when you got in the end, eh? So what was your gift? What was your prize for winning?
My prize for winning, it was a little game to play.
How excited are you now about competing in the next triathlon?
I feel good. I want to compete in the next triathlon. I'm excited to compete in the next triathlon.
How often do you train here in St. Kitts and where?
For swimming, I train 2 times a week in St. Kitts and once in Nevis. And I train once a week for riding and 2 times a week for running in St. Kitts and 1 time a week for riding in Nevis.
Oh, that is wonderful. That is excellent, Grayson. Do you know of any meets coming up just now that you might be participating in? Has your coach told you, hey, Grayson, there's a meet coming up in a month, 2 months, 3 months, whatever the case, wherever?
In August, there's a meet. There's a triathlon in
Sorry, in August there's a meet where? I didn't get that, sorry.
Coach James, can you help out?
Oh, Coach James was there on the line. I didn't realize that.
Yes, Coach James is there.
And you're his mom, I take it?
Yes, sir. Good night.
Good night. Congratulations for the motivation that you have been giving Grayson.
Thank you.
And before we go to Coach James, when you saw signs that Grayson wanted to do this triathlon, running and or swimming and or bike riding, when did you start getting that inspiration, that feeling from him?
Well, like maybe 5 months or a little, maybe 5 months ago or so, he said that Coach James was speaking about it. And so he said that he would like to give it a try. And so his dad decided to get him a bicycle. And from then on, we asked Coach James to help him out with the cycling because he already knew how to swim. And he was already practicing for the running, given that they had participated in the primary school championship. So the only thing that he needed to work on was the cycling.
And how did you feel? You and his dad, how did you both feel when you saw him coming in and he was in front and it looked like he was going to win and he eventually won? What was the feeling like?
We felt very excited and proud at the same time because when we were going up, we just thought that, we are taking him up so he could get some experience, but we didn't realize that he was at that level already where he was going to not only win his category, but also win the overall. So we were quite impressed by his performance.
Just to clarify, and he did say it, he won overall. He did mention there were 10 athletes in all, 3 in his category and 7 otherwise, and his category was under 18. So are you saying of all 10 competitors, he was number 1?
Yes, sir.
That is indeed tremendous. That is wonderful. And what was his father? I know you said he bought him his bike, but what was his father's initial feelings about our son doing swimming and the triathlon?
Well, actually, it's more my husband that was more inclined with him doing the triathlon because me personally, I was like, I'm not sure that we could handle one more item on the list because Grayson does quite a amount of different sports. So I was saying, I'm not sure whether he could add one more to the list, but obviously he proved me wrong.
Well, I'm very glad that you decided to go along with the hussy and allow him to compete. Coach, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, thank you, Mamzi. Now, Coach, I could imagine that you're very much elated about all of this.
Well, I kind of like, I work with him, so I know what he had in his basket.
So are you saying you went there feeling pretty confident that he could win this or he would win this?
Yeah, what my idea was, I know he could do it, but I also wanted him to realize that he can handle it. And on the big scale of things, for him to register himself as a triathlete or as a destined triathlete. Let them see that there's something or someone coming in fast because he's still young. And there's a lot to do when it comes to triathlon because I'm a former triathlete. So
continue, yes.
So giving him the ammunition that he needs, I mean, I already have them in my pocket. So it's just to disseminating to him little at a time so that he can adjust to it. But triathlon it's a totally different ball game to swimming. It hurts, and you gotta love the pain and love being uncomfortable, because that's what it is from start to finish. The best part of a triathlon is when you cross the finish line. You feel good, but all the time during the time that you're competing, you keep asking yourself one thing: why did I decide to do this? Because that is what has happened to me several times. Because it's not easy.
I always admire the triathlon. Anytime I'm flicking to channels and I realize a triathlon is on, I try to stay with it as much as possible as long as the event happens. There's just something about it. And I believe a triathlete is an extremely special athlete. Similarly to the heptathlete and the octathlete in the Olympics and the pentathlete doing 3, 4, 5, 10 events, that has to be gruesome. What is next?
It is.
Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, you go
No,
ahead.
you go ahead.
Okay, what is next for Grayson?
Well, we have something apart from swimming. We are working on getting him into Carifta in August.
Okay.
As a triathlete. And that again is going to be a totally different ball game to what he did recently. This is where, if I may say, the big boys come out to play. So his age group, I'm going to call in the big boys come out to play, because these folks are going to be seasoned. But the plan is to have him make another mark. Second, that would be like maybe the second shot at it. Each time it gets harder, but then you learn as you go. And it's just a matter of putting your head to it. Don't expect any miracles. Expect that you got to work hard, and it's not going to fall in your lap. Learn to lose in order to win.
Very, very good instructions there, Coach. Grayson, would you encourage any of your friends to become triathletes, and why? If you say yes.
Yes, because it is an interesting sport, but you have to work hard for it.
Okay, we appreciate that. Mommy, thanks a lot for allowing Grayson to be on the program with us here on Win FM 98.9 on the ball. And thank
George,
yes, Eldon.
yeah, before you go, I want to say this, because for me this is a very big event, and Grayson didn't just go to represent himself or to represent St. Kitts Aquatics. He went to represent St. Kitts and Nevis, and I mean, his accomplishment is broadcasted all over Facebook and stuff like that. But we don't hear much of our young people doing these kind of things at all. And I know if this had happened somewhere else, in the United States, I mean, this thing would have been big. Grayson, a 10-year-old, swam. I mean, 300 meters is nothing for him. Grayson swims like 1,000 meters and so on comfortably, right? He swam from Nevis to St. Kitts, so that's nothing. But to compete in all of them consecutively, coming out overall top of the group, I mean, this is a great accomplishment. This is something to be celebrated in St. Kitts and Nevis. And we need to recognize this some more. And as a federation, as a country, to big up our young people, make them feel good about the accomplishment and push them in the right direction. That's all I have to say, in my closing remarks.
Okay, thanks a lot. So what about you, Coach? Any closing remarks?
I would want to run along with Eldon and even echo it even more, because, I mean, in our islands, we don't get that kind of encouragement. It's like one of us do something, and oh well, and it just disappears. So it is not encouraging to the athletes. It is not encouraging to the outsiders that that they are willing to accept and push our athletes, because if our own people are denying us, well, who's going to take us up?
Indeed.
But if we push what we have, you know, then others also would recognize that, okay, this is happening. This is what is going on this side of the island here. So therefore, I mean, if needs be, let us see if we can, you know, work with them and get them where they need to be, how they need to be, you know. But we just lay flat and everything just dies down. I mean, I could guarantee you, right? I'm gonna ask you a question. And I'm gonna give you the answer, but I just want to show you what I'm trying to explain. Have you heard about me before?
No, I haven't heard much about you, save and except in speaking to triathletes, not triathletes, sorry, Nikhil and Eldon, about who they have as support staff. So I knew you from that. I didn't know much of you, but I knew of you.
Okay. Okay, fine. Now, I'm gonna give you a couple words of my bio.
Okay.
Now,
could you make it very quickly, please, because we have another
very
guest
quick.
waiting online.
I have qualified and competed at 3 world championship events in my days.
Wow.
And I did not have a coach.
Whoa. Interesting.
I qualified for triathlon, 70.3, that's a half Ironman triathlon in Clearwater, Florida. I qualified and competed in Australia World Championship cycling. I qualified and competed in World Championship cycling again in Switzerland. You don't read about that.
Indeed. but coach, I thank you very much, and I could see that you're extremely qualified to be a coach in this area, and I thank you very much for the work you're doing. I congratulate you, and mommy, I also thank you for the support you and the family members and friends have been giving Grayson. And you, Grayson, I say congratulations to you big time for this achievement, and I am looking forward to hearing much about you again, not only just placing but winning your various events. And to you, President Thomas, congrats to the work that you and your association are doing, and we expect to have you on the program again in the not too distant future.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
All right, thanks, man.
We were just speaking. No problem, Grayson. We were just speaking to Grayson along with his coach and the president of the St. Kitts and Nevis Aquatic Federation. Grayson competed in a triathlon in Nevis, in St. Martin last week, Sunday. And his category was the 18 and under, and he won. He came in first out of all the competitors. So we're extremely proud. So this is a wonderful achievement for St. Kitts and Nevis. And he's only 10. So we're going to be hearing a lot more of him in future. And thank you to them again for joining us here on the ball at WINNFM 98.9. You're listening on the ball here at WINNFM 98.9. And our next guest is Mr. Carlisle Powell, president of the Nevis Cricket Association, and he is going up against the president of the Leeward Islands Cricket Board for that top position. As we say good evening to you, Carlisle. Welcome to On the Ball here at WINNFM 98.9.
Good evening, Troy, and good evening to all of your many listeners.
Just give us a second while we get that sorted out. Are you hearing me, Carlisle?
Loud and clear.
I don't know if you have your mic muted.
No, it's not.
You're there, Carlisle?
I'm hearing you loud and clear.
Okay, yes, I'm hearing you loud and clear now, Carlisle. Thank you very much for joining us here on the ball at WINNFM 98.9. How are you? How is Nevis?
I am doing very well. Nevis is Nevis.
Nevis nice. And how is cricket in Nevis?
Well, we're on a little bit of a break right now, but we have a lot of cricket coming up shortly. We have the under-19 girls camp, which is starting in Nevis this weekend, starts on the 15th, and it goes right through until the end of the month as we try to get them prepared for taking part in the West Indies Ladies Under 19 competition. We also have a request from a team out of the United States to play some Under 19 cricket. And so I am encouraging the Cricket Association to host them, and that team should be touring Nevis from the 4th until the 13th of July. And of course, in July, August, we have the Berridge Howell Games, Nevis against St. Kitts. We're seeing the return of that. We have been engaged in discussions with the St. Kitts Cricket Association and with some sponsors. And so those games are scheduled for July 28th and August 4th. And we're hoping that we'll be able to get into top gear in terms of advertising those games. Those are in the heart of Culturama. So lots of people should be home, and people should be anxious to see some cricket. And so we are looking forward to hosting those games and hoping that by next year they will revert to the original position of May. Let me say with rather than May, when we traditionally hosted the Berridge Howell Games.
That's very exciting indeed. You're having an under 19 camp. I don't think I've heard of any in St. Kitts as yet, but I must congratulate you and your association, Carlisle, for the work you're doing in Nevis. You basically
let me interject and tell you this is the Leewoods under 19 camp.
Oh, the Leewoods under 19 camp. Okay.
Leewoods under 19. So you have players from St. Kitts, Antigua, Nevis, Bermuda, and the United States of America. And this is in preparation for the West Indies tournament. So from that Leewoods under 19 camp, we will end up with a Leewoods team.
Okay, that's wonderful. And I'm thinking Jazara Claxton obviously would be, I don't know if she's available, but she'll be part of that.
Absolutely.
That is indeed wonderful. And I congratulate you and your association again and wish you all the best, because it's never easy to host these things. And you have been a very active association. But apart from Nevis Cricket, Carlisle, elections for the Leeward Islands Cricket Board, that comes up on the 22nd of this month?
That is correct.
And
that is not Saturday, next week, Saturday.
And you are the lone contender going up against the incumbent, the president, Mr. Enoch Lewis, out of Antigua and Barbuda. What is your position currently when it comes to the Leeward Islands setup?
The vice president of the Leeward's Cricket Board at the present moment.
How long have you been in that position?
This is the end of the second year, the first term, so 2 years.
2 years. What inspired you to contest for the presidency?
Listen, Leeward's cricket is in a bit of a funk. And that is something which we all know and which we have all been a little bit too quiet about. But listen, let me back up just a little bit, because it would be a huge mistake if we were to go too far without me on this station and your program saying congratulations to Michael Louis for this huge, momentous achievement of being selected to tour with the West Indies senior men's team. And even as I say congratulations to Michael, I have to feel a little how about his brother Jeremiah, because he has done all that has been asked of him as a player, but he has not yet caught the eyes of the selectors. And so I have to say again to Michael, there was no question about him making the tour. He picked himself with 682 runs. But his brother, I feel, is a little bit hard done, because he has taken wickets year after year and has not yet caught the eyes of the selectors. Even on that tour to Nepal, I mean, why not Jeremiah? I mean, I could understand why not Mikhail, because he was, by the time he had picked himself for the senior tour. But why not Jeremiah? St. Kitts has produced a number of outstanding players over the years. And I should remind people that St. Kitts Nevis is not an original member of the Leeward Islands Cricket Association. St. Kitts, on the other hand, they were an original member, along with Montserrat and Antigua. I think Dominica came in a little bit later. But it has taken St. Kitts, not any fault of theirs, from 1928 when we started playing Test cricket until now to get a player on the West Indies side. Not any fault of St. Kitts. They have had some outstanding players over the years. The luck of the draw just was not with St. Kitts. But I'm hoping that Mikael will stay on the side for a very long time and will be there churning out runs season after season as he did this season. I hope that he can replicate that on the Tour of England. If he can, listen, if Mikael can just get 400 runs on the Tour of England, I would be more than delighted, be extremely happy. So congratulations to him, to his family, to the St. Kitts Cricket Association, Dennis and Carlin and all the hardworking members there. And I wish the young man well.
Thank you very much, Carlisle. I would have touched that at the back end when as we went on to the program, but you brought it up to the fore, and I appreciate that. And I too, on behalf of Win FM 98.9, the management, staff, and board of directors, and of course my personal behalf, extend congratulations to Mikael in his first year, and he's just like 23. So
yes,
this would tell us, provided that there are no injuries, God spare, and he maintains his performance and his fitness, he should be around with us playing for the West Indies in a very long time. There is some discussion whether he would make it into the first 11 for the first test. What is your view on that?
He came in to replace somebody who was dropped and who played in the 11. You remember when we told Shandapal is the batsman who played
Australia earlier in the year, yes.
So, yeah, Mikael has come in to replace Shandapal as an opener. I'm not even having discussions about that. I'm looking to say that because Brathwaite is the captain, I expect him to play. And then the next name on the team sheet, I expect to be Mikael Louis.
You sound like a particular caller. His team for England is Brathwaite, Louis, and the rest. His team for the first test is Brathwaite, Louis, and the rest. So it's very interesting. And we had the chairman of selectors, Mr. Samuel Spencer of Antigua. We had him live in the studio last week, Tuesday, here on the Ball. And he said, he told Mikael that he needed 650 runs from him this tournament. And he rewarded him with 682. And I believe a little more concentration, he could have turn a lot of those 50s into hundreds, and even the hundreds into bigger hundreds. It's his first season yet, and that is something for him to work on, and which I think he has potential.
Yeah, I called the game in St. Kitts when he was given out. When listen, he was clearly not out, but when the umpire says you're out, you're out. Indeed. But by the rules of the game, I couldn't see exactly what the umpire saw to give him out, and that could well have pushed that inning. If he had been allowed to continue to bat, could well have pushed him over the 700 mark. But I love the commitment, love the way that he showed the discipline, and the fact that, listen, he knew he wanted to get big runs, and he got big runs. 682 is nothing to scoff at.
Not at all. I am recalling a year when the late Otto out of Antigua, he made 500 plus runs, and he didn't get into the West Indies team. So I'm elated about this, and like you said, grabbing it with both hands, playing in the first test in England, and picking himself for the West Indies for the foreseeable future. Before we go on to you, we just had the St. Kitts and Nevis Aquatic Federation on the program, and one of the things they lamented about is we had a 10-year-old going to St. Martin competing in a triathlon, and he was first overall, not just in his category, which is 18 and under. He was first overall in the triathlon. And like it is, okay, yes, congratulations, what next? I don't even want to say a lukewarm feeling, but the recognition for that. And this is coming on the back because I'm in a few cricket chat, and that's the same thing we're saying. Even in playing domino and draft, you're hearing that, hey, are we having enough recognition for Louis? And the question was posed, could anyone remember what happened in Anguilla when Amari Banks became the first Anguillan to play Test cricket? It's like they almost gave a public holiday, fitting and recognition. Are you getting that feeling about Mickey Louis here in St. Kitts and Nevis?
Well, listen, I expected more. And I expected more officially. Because the Cricket Association can do so much. But the Cricket Association does not nearly have the resources of the government. I expected a formal presentation ceremony for Mikhail by the government, by the Minister of Sport. So not just a release to say congratulations and so on. Formally meet the young man. He's the first player from St. Kitts to make the West Indies side. I would have preferred all now if Mr. Louis had already been given an official passport. You must jump up and recognize the man. Maybe I'm asking too much. Maybe I've been around sports too much. But when something like this happens and it is the first, you have to do like 1973. I was just a little boy, but I remember parades and ceremonies all over Nevis in recognition of El Comido Willett making the West Indies side. And then you hear an announcement that Mikhail Louis has been selected to tour England. And I just get a little lukewarm response. I honestly expected more. I don't know what the government has planned, but listen, I can only judge on what has been done, and very little has been done to date. I want to hear an announcement, for example, just like we do in Nevis, that Mikhail Louis has been awarded a half an acre of land. That's what we do in Nevis. Don't keep that a secret. Make the announcement. You can do the presentation later. But he must be rewarded and he must be recognized. And young players of cricket throughout St. Kitts must say, wow, this is what happened. Kim Collins, he got house and land, right? Well, if he got house and land and Mikhail Louis has been given land, we want to get something that way too. Every single person from Nevis who has played for a West Indies side has been given a half an acre of land. That is standard procedure. And I'm not just talking about the 7 cricketers. I'm also talking about the netballers who have played for the West Indies side. I'm talking about our athlete who went to the Olympics, Mr. Covin Wallace. So this wouldn't be some earth-shattering announcement made by the government. It is something which is expected. And I'm saying that have a formal presentation ceremony, present the young man, have a little cocktail in his honor, do something before he goes off to England. I am not like those people who are saying, hold on, wait a minute, let us see what he does on tour. Listen, he has been selected. Let us now start the celebrations.
And, well, hearing you speak with such passion, it's interesting, extremely interesting. And it's drawing me back now to Jazara Claxton, pardon me, as the first Kittitian and division to play for the West Indies. Yes, it's only at the under-19 level. But the question is, have we done enough to recognize her and encourage her? And by doing so, encourage other young females to get involved in the game as well?
Is more than just talking. You have to set up programs. Because you want Jazara not just to play for under-19s. You want her to play for the West Indies senior side. So she must be assisted with respect to programs, with respect to training, with respect to nutrition, with respect to all the disciplines that she will need to get her over the top to get into the West Indies women's team. Just saying that, okay, all right, she's on the under-19 team, let's make her youth ambassador. How does that help her cricket? What is the program to make sure that she is in the nets 5 days a week for 4 hours a day minimum? Working at her craft and ensuring that she gets better so that she can be a professional. What is the program even now that Mikhail Louis has been selected to tour England? Are people just lining up to shake his hand and say hello and let's take a picture? Or are they saying, hey, listen, We are going to have to get you with the best coaches we have available in St. Kitts Nevis, and whoever else is outside on Zoom. Make sure that you're in the nets. You're a batsman. You are going to come to the nets at 10 o'clock this morning, and you're going to bat for 2 hours. We'll take a lunch break. You'll come back and you'll bat for 2 hours. We'll take a tea break. You'll come back and you will bat for 2 more hours. You are to bat for 6 hours a day, because that is what is expected at the test level. We want to be able to see him go out to bat if the West Indies win the toss and bats. And at lunchtime, he's still there. At tea time, he's still there. At the end of the day's play, he's still there. But how do you do that? You don't do that by getting into bat for 15 minutes in a session or saying, well done, congratulations, you have done well. You got to be proactive. And by being proactive, you organize sessions where the young man will be able to bat. You have bowling machines in St. Kitts. Let him go and bat for 6 hours a day.
I like that idea indeed. And it's also always a concern I have. Going back to, was it the Barbados game? Were we to have batted for a day and a session, we would have been able to draw the game and perhaps win the tournament.
Exactly.
And that is something, even at the West Indies level, I don't think we do a very good job batting long to save a game, batting a day plus, 2 days as the case may be. Because too often teams end up in a position you cannot win the game. The game could draw, you could lose, but you have to bat. So I really like what you're saying, Carlisle. But let us get on to Carlisle, the politician, as it were, contesting the Leeward Islands Cricket Board. I know you said you are the vice president, you've served 2 terms, but you were at the helm of the Leewards board some time back, weren't you?
I was president of the board for about 5 years.
And you could recall the period that was?
That was right up to 2005.
And you did
my term ended in 2005.
Okay, and you did say you don't like the way Leeward's cricket is going at the moment. That is why you decided to jump in the bull ring. We saw a situation in Jamaica a few weeks ago where the vice president successfully challenged the president of the Jamaica Cricket is it Association Federation? I'm not certain, but he challenged and he won. He not only did he win, it was like 2-1.
Yeah, you got a convincing
mandate, and I don't think it's ever easy for a vice president to decide that, hey, I'm going to run against my president. We've seen it, not only in cricket, in other sports. But what are you bringing to the table? What are you going to say to convince the other units? But before you answer, forgive me, what's the voting strength? How many countries? And
we have 8 members, and each of the 8 members will have 1 vote.
Okay. And
but let me back up just a little bit, because the Leewards board, the board is owned by the members, meaning the member territories: Antigua, Anguilla, Montserrat, St. Martin, USVI, BVI, St. Kitts and Nevis. And so the president really should carry out the instructions of the board. Ensure that he is the top executive who top administrative executive, giving direction and carrying out the policy of the board. We have a situation in the Leewards where our vice presidents really are not involved, really are seldom consulted. And you don't have to take my word for it. Dennis Phillip is in St. Kitts. You could ask Dennis. Ask Nathaniel Walter in St. Martin. I've been vice president for the past 2 years, and things happen and I hear about them when we go to a meeting. There is not that consultative approach to the way we do business. And in terms of carrying out the mandate of the members, I'll give you one classic example. In 2022, the Leewards board decided, hey, listen, we are going to make some amendments to our articles of association, which we commonly call the Constitution. And we are going to strengthen the instrument. One of the changes that was unanimously decided was that the president will only be able to serve for 2 terms of 2 years. So we agreed on term limits. We sat down in June of 2023 on a Saturday morning from 9 o'clock in the morning until about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And we went through all of the changes, including term limits, formally approved them. The only thing had to be done to that was for them to be effected. Just put into effect, because we unanimously approved them. Our president, Enoch Lewis, according to him, referred the matter to a lawyer. It has taken the lawyer from June 2023 until we are now in June 2024. And I have not heard one single bit of advice from the lawyer. But what has that done? It meant that the president, Enoch Lewis, not wanting to enforce term limits, because it would mean that he could not run again. He has been there for 8 years. He has successfully kicked the can down the road, so that after a whole year, after we approved that change for term limits, has still not come into force and will not be in effect for the meeting next week on the 22nd. I am saying that any president of the board and any presidency under Carlisle Powell will steadfastly carry out the mandate given to it by the members. The members say they want term limits, you enforce term limits. You as president don't have the right to totally distance yourself from the wishes of all of the 8 members and refuse to enforce term limits because it would affect you. I'm saying that that is not proper. That ought not to be condoned. And the presidency, the executive, must carry out the wishes of the board. Simple as that.
I saw an article coming out of the newspapers in Antigua and Barbuda where President Lewis was actually saying that his work is not done. He has more to be done that he'll want to do in terms of the presidency, and that is why he is going up again. What you just said is very much interesting. Let us assume that this comes, well, it will come into effect, because I would expect whoever wins here will have that to ensure that it's carried out. But let us assume that he were to win, and then this comes into effect. Does that mean he'll have a new 4-year term start, or would it be backdated, so to speak?
No, it's a 2-year term. Once you elect him, he's there for an additional 2 years. But he ought not to be on the ballot.
Okay.
It's a year ago. The members agreed that there will be term limits. He has taken a whole year and defied the board. That is the point that I'm making.
But what is the feeling of the other members? There are 8 units you mentioned: St. Kitts, Nevis, Anguilla 3, Montserrat 4, St. Martin 5, BVI 6, USVI 7, and Antigua and Barbuda 8. But how are the other members seeing it? Because if this is an agreement and it hasn't been happening, persons should, in my humble view, be crying out and, as we say locally, bawling out about all of this.
Troy, when I went to the Leewards board in 1986, there was what you call horse trading. Horse trading still happens at the Leewards board. Unfortunately, there are still people who you can stroke and soothe if you say, hey, listen, you want to be a rep to go to the board? Some people feel that that is more important than looking at what is happening in the board and looking at the way that the board ought to be run properly with proper representation for all. When I realized that this matter was not going to be put on the table, I put a resolution before the board. And that resolution must have been at least a month ago. At least a month ago. I do not, let me see if I have yes, I do have a copy of the resolution. The 2nd of May, sent a resolution to the board. And that resolution spoke clearly to the fact that we need to implement the agreed term limits. From the 2nd of May until, and I said at the next meeting, from the 2nd of May until now, Troy, that matter, that resolution has not made its way onto the agenda for any meeting. As a matter of fact, we had one meeting since, and that one meeting had a one-item agenda. It did not even have any other business. And I can only surmise that that was done to ensure that the resolution to bring term limits squarely in focus and debated and discussed ahead of the annual general meeting, that the one item agenda was to ensure that that item did not make it to the agenda. I sent this resolution to every single member of the Leeward Islands Cricket Association, Leeward Islands Cricket Board. The only member territory that I have had any discussions on, any response from, is the St. Kitts Cricket Association.
That was a question I was going to ask. If your resolution did you receive an acknowledgement of even a receipt from the Leeward Islands Cricket Board?
It was acknowledged. Receipt was acknowledged.
What does the Constitution say about resolutions? Having received one, when should it be tabled? Is it at the next meeting or within a particular period, a 2-week, 3-week, 1-week period, 1 month?
It doesn't give a time period, but it says once it has been properly received, it should be debated.
And you mentioned also that there was no any other business on the agenda.
Nope.
This has, unfortunately, in my humble view, becoming a very popular trend. And I personally believe this is done to not allow the masses to hear their voice or their voices on any particular topic if it were not part of the agenda, which to me is stifling democracy. And it is really sad. It is really sad in my humble view because you represent the membership, and the membership need to be able to hear their grievances, as it were. And if you're going to, based on what you're saying, if you're going to be having constitutions at a lawyer for a year, which I believe is extremely excessive for any constitution. I'm not talking about constitution of the Cricket Association. Yes, lawyers are very busy, but if you're not going to get it back in a month, 2 months, 3 months, at least say, hey, could you get another lawyer because I don't have the time to deal with it. Because you cannot be holding, in my humble view, any association, locally, regionally, internationally, at ransom for these sort of things. But the elections are coming up on the 22nd, Saturday the 22nd. How are you feeling at this moment? How confident are you?
I put my plans forward to every single member territory of the Leeward Islands Cricket Board. Every single member. I did not hide it from the president, from the CEO, or from the secretary. I made sure that I posted so every single one of them could view and see what are the plans for Carlisle Powell if you were to be elected as president. This election has nothing to do with Enoch Lewis or Carlisle Powell. This has to do with Leeward Islands Cricket Board and improving the Leeward Islands Cricket Board. The president says that he has unfinished business. Well, any president who has only had one 3-day competition in the 8 years he has been in office has a lot of unfinished business. But that is not just unfinished business. That is business that he should be punished for. How can you in your tenure have one 3-day competition in the 8 years that you have been in office and come back and look people and say, vote for me again? There are youngsters who have passed through the under 15 age group category and have never played an under 15 game for their islands. Never played in Leeward Islands competition. So what do? You say, okay, since you haven't played one under 15 competition in the 8 years you have been in office, let us vote for you again so that you can have one so you can check that box. It makes no sense.
Indeed, Carlisle. But could you give us an idea of the plans? Were you to be elected president of the Leeward Islands Cricket Board? What are you going to be working on achieving, implementing, as the case may be?
I think that it is sad that, what is it now? This is 18 years after Stanford in 2006, that we still don't have a 2020 competition in the Leewards. And so that is something that we want to pay particular attention to. And we would want to ensure that we are playing a 2020 competition fairly close to the time period when our own St. Kitts Nevis and the Antigua franchise now will be looking at players for their drafts. Give our players exposure at that level, at 2020 level, because I still believe it is a travesty that Leewards don't have a 2020 competition, but we have a franchise base in St. Kitts and one base in Antigua now. So that is something that we are going to have to fix. I believe that we're going to have to create greater visibility for the Leeward Islands Cricket Board. You must not just hear of the Leewards Cricket Board when you have an annual general meeting, but the board must be highly visible in organizing and helping to orchestrate tournaments in the various islands, coaching programs in the various islands, umpires training in the various islands, scorers training in the various islands, coaching for our various teams in all of the different islands. So we want to bring those new ideas to the table. We want to ensure that during this next 2-year period, that we actively and urgently seek sponsorship. Because I'm not aware that we have a single major sponsor which is putting monies into Leeward Islands cricket so that we can continue to have our programs. And we can't just sit back and look out and say, listen, we want people from outside to come in to sponsor our cricket. We're going to have to come up with imaginative ways so that we can have sponsorship. We have to reintroduce the one-day tournament. We haven't played it for a while. We played one 3-day competition, but we have to reintroduce the one-day tournament, and we have to make this 3-day competition a regular 3-day competition. We have to make sure that we play our under 15 programs. I mean, this is not like years ago when you had the St. Kitts 13 and under competition, which saw people like Craig Brathwaite and Kyron Powell and Devon Thomas and those kind of people come through, Jamal Hamilton. There is not the under 13 competition to feed up now. So we are going to have to ensure that we have the under 15 competition, which is played on a regular basis. And then when you finish with all of that, the most important thing that would happen under our Powell presidency is that you return the ownership of the Leeward Islands Cricket Board to the members. No president must have the powers and to decide, for example, hey, listen, we want to move the franchise from St. Kitts without having discussions and embracing the ideas from all of the members. Some of the members heard about the move at a meeting when it had been completed. I heard at a meeting that we had issues with duty-free allowances for the franchise, and that these started under the previous administration. They said they had no problems under the Douglas administration, no problems at the start of the Harris administration, and then there were some challenges later on. But this is now the Drew administration. To the best of my knowledge, nobody sat down with Minister Samal, nobody sat down with Prime Minister Drew and said, these are the concerns that we have. Can you help us to fix these concerns? If we don't get them fixed, we'll be willing to listen to others. I'm not aware that anybody sat down with the Brantley administration and said, hey, listen, the franchise is in St. Kitts. It's a federation of St. Kitts and Nevis. We're having problems with duty. Can you give us an assurance that we will be able to get stuff brought through Nevis for the team, only for the team, duty-free? I'm not aware that that happened. There was an instance when they had issues with a shipment. And when I was alerted of the problems with respect to duty, we had the shipment sent through Nevis. The government facilitated the duty-free. We picked them up in Nevis and got them to the team down in St. Kitts. And this was easy because these are uniforms. These are cricket balls. These are things which are going to be consumed by the team, not given to members of the public. So things like that, returning the ownership of the Leeward Islands Cricket Board to the members, not a president someplace making decisions without the benefit of the knowledge of the members. I mean, nobody spoke to Dennis. Nobody told Dennis, hey, listen, we're thinking about moving the franchise because of these problems. How can you help us? Carleen is the director of the Leewards Cricket Board. Nobody spoke to Carleen. Nobody said, Carleen, listen, we are having problems. These are the challenges. You are on the ground. How can you help us? Nobody called me and said, listen, Vice President, these are the challenges that we are facing. Are you willing and able to take a boat, go down to St. Kitts, seek a meeting with Minister of Sport Duggins, seek a meeting with the Prime Minister, and see if we can get these sorted out on behalf of the Leewards Board? That didn't happen. And I'm saying that, listen, that can't be right. That cannot be right any day of the week at all, at all. And of course, we'll implement every single one of the changes that were agreed to by the members to the Constitution, including term limits. And then, listen, we have to engage all the members in discussions on a cricket calendar so that we know exactly what the plans are for under 19 ladies, senior ladies, under 15s, under 17s, under 19s, and the franchise. We have to be able to look at a calendar and say, this is when we are going to be having these particular events. And one of the things which I'm very, very strong on, I believe that the cricket committee must be expanded. And my idea of expanding the cricket committee is by involving players, whether they are past players, present players, involve them on the cricket committee so that they could help to guide Leeward's cricket. Because the administrators, the directors do not have all of the knowledge. So why is it that you have outstanding former cricketers who still have a love for the game, and you can't have them involved in the cricket committee so that when you say, gentlemen, we are thinking about having a camp and we are thinking about 40 people at the camp, and you look around the room and a Luther Kelly said, Powell, where are you going with 40? 40 is too much. Why you don't have 24? And then somebody like Victor say, yeah, 40, no, can't handle 40. And people like those, Parry Willett is still around, Stuart Williams, you still have Keith Atherton around and still involved in cricket, still ready to share. I mean, I've had long discussions with somebody like Sir Andy, for example. When my phone rings and I see that it's Sir Andy calling, whatever I'm doing, I put that on pause because I have to listen to the great man. When Winston Benjamin picks up his phone to call me, I clear my calendar, whatever I'm doing, because you have to listen to these people. They have knowledge. I was in Anguilla for the Masters tournament. Omari Banks came to look for me, found time in the schedule to come to the park to look for me to have a shot on Cricket Matters. These people are still willing, still available to contribute to Leeward's cricket. And I'm saying under Powell administration, we would involve them on the cricket committee to get the use of their knowledge.
Wonderful indeed, Carlisle. Well, we just about have to wrap it up, but we cannot wrap it up unless we ask about a situation that developed where an article came out in the Observer, May 25th, 2024. Davis's Carlisle Powell seeks legal advice following LICB overdraft accusation by Antigua's Enoch Lewis. And, well, we don't have time to go through the article, but it's basically saying at some point when you were president between 2000 and I'm subject to correction, of course, and I'm just summarizing, between 2000 and 2005, when you were president of the Leeward Islands Cricket Board, you signed for an overdraft, not for the association, but for yourself. Could you...
I heard it. It appeared to me, an untrained legal mind, to be slanderous, and I immediately referred it to my lawyer. I've also provided my lawyer with the audio tape, and also with the transcript. So all of that is with my lawyer. The article I find was maybe a bit of politicking gone the wrong way. It was, to my mind, intended to make me look bad. I mean, why would I take $100,000 overdraft in my name, not for the association? Why would I take $100,000 overdraft? Mr. Mills, I'm not going to say a lot about that because it's in the hands of my lawyer and I intend to pursue the matter fully. What I can say to you is that Carlisle Powell has never applied to any financial institution for an overdraft in any amount, not in my personal name. I've had no need for an overdraft because my grandmother taught me early, if you only make $1, don't plan to spend $1. You have to spend and make sure you put up something for rainy days. And that he's talking about a period up to 2000. I was president until 2005. Where I built my house in 2004. And I didn't build it cash. I went to a financial institution. And you know, these banks, they ask for disclosures. Well, how come 100,000 overdraft in my name didn't show up to say that I had taken that? In my name, Mr. Lewis, I'm sorry that he had to go that low. I don't intend to go that low with him because this is not about Carlisle or Enoch. This is about Leeward's cricket and what is best for Leeward's cricket. And at my age, I'm enjoying Social Security, Mr. Mills. So I am not about to get myself involved in any belly crawling, snake-like procedures as the president is appearing to do. But my lawyers will give him an opportunity to provide the evidence because he said that he had a copy of a memo. Let him produce the copy of the memo in a court of law.
Thank you very much, Carlisle. Well, a question that obviously comes from all of this. Why this thing is surfacing after some 15 years?
Because there is an election on the 22nd of June 2024. And the president obviously might be feeling pressure. And as a result of that, he seems to be trying to dig up all the dirt that he can manufacture or find. I'm not into that. Listen, I'm comfortable. And when I was president, I was very comfortable. I had no need. As a matter of fact, I was the president of the board. I had 2 secretary treasurers in the period I was president, Mr. Hastings Daniel and Mr. Alfred Tyrrell. And these fellows could tell you that they used to run the accounts and ask me to sign checks when they wanted me to sign checks. I was not a president who had a checkbook at home because I had no need for the Leeward's money to be spent on Carlisle Powell. Never did, never will. I'm comfortable. I'm okay.
Carlisle, this was quite an interesting interview, and I've learned quite a lot. And for the listeners, I think they have learned quite a bit of it. And we congratulate you for stepping forward and throwing your hat in the bowling, as people would say. And we wish you all the best on the elections on Saturday, the 22nd, 2024, June, that is, in the next 2 weeks. And we will have you back on the program shortly thereafter and to find out how things went and have you again tell us more, go a little bit in depth perhaps of your program. And you did an excellent job here, but just for the confirmation. And congratulations, sir, and the best wishes.
Thank you very much, Troy. I have a million messages and the phone is ringing off the hook. So it has to be that people have been listening to the interview. Thank you very much. Take care.
Okay, Carlisle, our pleasure. We have just been speaking to Mr. Carlisle Powell, president of the Nevis Cricket Association, and he is going up against the president of the Leeward Islands Cricket Board, Mr. Enoch Lewis, out of Antigua and Barbuda, who is the incumbent, in the elections for that position on Saturday, 22nd June, in the next few weeks. And we have just heard his side and why he believes he should be elected the president of the Leeward Islands Cricket Board. Sounding very convincing to me. I like the ideas of his programs, pointing out what has not happened, and under his administration, what will be done. And I clearly could say I started umpiring in 1984. My first Leeward Island match was back in 1986. And I have the privilege, as an example, of umpiring in 3 grounds in Montserrat. Sturge Park, and after the volcano, they were playing in Sion Hill. Can't remember the place. And then back down by the port area. I don't know how many umpires in the Leeward Islands would have had that privilege like I have. And it is something that it's good for umpires. But nonetheless, ladies and gentlemen, we are at the end of the program. I thank my producer, Jamster, for being here with us and being able to bring it to you. And we had the St. Kitts and Nevis Athletic Federation, Grayson winning his triathlon in Nevis, and Mikael Louis. We cannot say enough about Mikael Louis. Congratulations to you, Mikael Louis. Keep on doing what you have been doing, working hard, training hard, eating right, eating properly, and appropriate rest. And we just had Mr. Carlisle Powell. We wish him all the best. And it's not about Carlisle, it's not about Enoch, but about Leeward's cricket. And we haven't had 3-day tournament, and Mikael is making the West Indies team. Could you imagine if we had 3-day tournament? We may have had a few more. Jeremiah Louis missing out on the selection, but he may get in on the back door, who knows, because Jason Holder, he is injured. We don't know if he's going to be coming back just now in time for the English tour from his injury. But tune in again next week, Tuesday, ladies and gentlemen, from 7 to 9 p.m. when we'll bring you another edition of On The Ball here at Win FM 98.9. Tell your friends, tell your families, and of course, we're encouraging you in the corporate community to come on board and be a partner with us for On The Ball here at Win FM. Sponsor the program in part or in whole. I am Troy Biff Mills, your host. As I slip away, it was my pleasure being with you, and I encourage you to always be positive in your thoughts, in your words, in your actions. Have a good night. See you next week. Godspeed.